One of the best parts of life is when you can admit the truth to yourself about yourself. Cyberspace is a world where one can become something he isn't, but everything he dares to be. I wasn't interested in getting attached to anyone, and I knew I wouldn't take anyone I met online seriously. I had multiple screen names to increase my chances of meeting someone attractive. The majority of the profiles noted HIV negative under status, but I knew better from the work I had done in the HIV community. I knew 1 out of 3 black gay men was positive. The messages I found in my inbox validated me in my depression. In some strange way, they reinforced that I was worthy and deserving. My days consisted of waking up and logging on to see how many messages had accrued overnight. Months passed before I got honest with my therapist about what was happening with me. And before I knew it, I heard myself say, I've been having sex with people I meet online. To listen to more of Words Never Spoken in Memoir, visit audible.com. SayItInACard.com is an online greeting card company that delivers right to your front door. Visit our website, www.sayItInACard.com. You can read the cards, order the cards, and we ship them directly to you. If you feel it, we say it in a card. We have breakup cards, troubled relationship cards, troubled friendship cards, and of course all of the traditional cards as well, from birthday to Mother's Day. So again, visit us at www.sayItInACard.com. Free shipping for a limited time. I was involved briefly with a married man who believed he had the courage to leave his wife to be with me and to live his truth. This isn't the typical story of a married man promising to leave his wife for a secret lover. Rather, this is a story in part about a gay man who knew he was gay before he got married, but chose to marry a woman because he didn't know how to break free. Rocky and I met on a gay social media site 3 months after I returned to the East Coast to live, and just 11 months after he was married. At the time we met, he was living and working in Dubai as a contractor for the government on a military base, while his wife was stationed in Tallahassee, Florida, where they had a home. In one of the first messages he sent me, Rocky shared that he was married, but that he had regrets. He explained that he had come out to his mother and siblings when he was 18 years old. He sat them. To listen to more of One Thing for Certain, Two Things for Sure, a memoir continued, visit audible.com. Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer Stewart, and this is So Much to Say. These are my thoughts in my voice on black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. We're talking about dating, but from a different perspective. It's about younger guys who are interested in older guys and vice versa. And I wanted to kind of talk about how dating has become so extremely difficult in the wake of social media. This is going to be a good one. Go ahead and hit the share button. Go ahead and do it now while you're thinking about it. And grab a Xanax too, because they worked my nerves. This is very personal work for me.
Politics.
I believe I was called to tell my story, use my voice, be a voice for the community, to speak to and for a community of people that's been ignored, denied, overlooked.
Religion.
This is my life's work.
Religion.
I want to use words to uplift, heal, inspire, encourage.
Do something different. Every Monday at 10.
And I've dated higher in number, and it that didn't go so well.
When you say higher, you mean like you dated
I was
older.
younger,
Yeah.
and that person was way older, and they threw temper tantrums.
But you know what? My thing is, and I've said this consistently, there is a certain age that I would not go below, simply because
like minors, it should be.
No, I mean even
No,
some
we
of
ain't
you.
talking about.
I'm not talking
Like
about
that should be
underage.
the age limit.
No, I'm not even going
Minors.
that close to that.
That's too low.
What I'm saying is
That's minors. That should be the
What's
no.
a minor to you?
Anybody
At
under
your
the
age,
under
How old are you?
He 25. But the thing
I
is,
don't like to disclose my age. I think we
You
had
better-
that conversation too.
you better be grateful that you Asian, because see, a lot of you young kids, y'all not making it.
Hey man,
You right about that?
Hello, somebody. So be
It's a
grateful.
blessing. It's
that
a
you're getting
blessing to be
older.
a certain age after.
you know, for a long time I used to lie about my age, but girl, I ain't lying about my age no more, girl.
For what?
For
I
what?
said for a long
but
time,
you
but
know
I was
what?
younger.
But see, that's the thing. Like, I don't understand why, especially a lot of
Oh
gay
no,
men.
because when on my birthday, once I turned 26, I'm still 25.
A lot of gay men, cover
no,
their ages
Why is
more
that?
than women,
Why
or
is
just
that?
as much as some women.
Why?
Because gay men,
I don't
I
like
think,
disclosing my age.
I think gay men suffer from the Peter Pan syndrome.
Peter Pan.
Afraid to grow up.
Okay.
They're afraid to grow up. They're afraid to get old.
This is my thing about
And that's
this is
why
my
you
take
girls,
on it.
that's all you all can never say to me is, "Oh, but you old." And I'm like, "Well, girl, I don't look."
But I'm glad you embrace your age.
Absolutely, and that's why I do it. And that's why I do my hashtag 43 on Instagram, because I want people to embrace their age. Like, you better be glad you get.
I embrace my age. I'm glad that I'm this
Speaking
young.
on that, since we on the discussion of age and relationships,
But this is podcast conversation.
Yes, it is. Shh, go ahead.
so since we on the subject of age and relationship, why do these older men these days feel like it's okay to lie about their age in order to lure in the younger? So they
younger
don't
gay
have
boy.
to, they don't have to be in a relationship. You know, they
Right.
just. This is who.
You mean like what y'all on them
I'm not
apps?
gonna
Shave it
lie.
back.
Older. Because if an older guy was to come up to me and tell me he was older, it's very intimidating.
But here's the
Why
thing.
is it-
But keep the question.
Okay,
Remember
go
the
ahead.
question. But the thing is, not just do older guys a lot of times lie about their age, like, because see, over 30 in the gay community, it's old. It's classified as
Yeah,
old.
yeah.
And so if a guy is 40 or 43 or whatever, he's gonna say he's 35. I don't do that,
Me either.
especially on those apps. Like, I've seen, like, previously, I'm not on the apps now, but previously, I'm not. I'm very open about it. Like, I used to be on the apps. You know those apps that you all use.
I don't use them.
Okay. Well, Killian
I
is
don't
on
have
it.
not one of them
But
apps on my
anyway,
phone.
listen. But listen, y'all don't even have to be on the apps now because y'all be all in people's DMs.
Right, on Instagram,
on Instagram, and Facebook.
Snapchat.
I got the messages to prove it.
I get messages in my DMs.
But here's the thing. So you don't. That's what I'm saying. You don't even have to be on the apps. But a lot of times on those apps, girl, we recording. Be quiet. But a lot of times on those apps, people will put that they're 35, or they'll put their age close as low as they can if they think they can pass, because they don't want to be considered as old. Because in the gay community, they're like, "Oh, you wait a minute, you in your 30s? Oh no, that's too old for me."
But see, this is my thing. I get this is what I get. So when people ask me my age, if it's a younger person, they ask me my age, they think that I'm a certain age. They think I'm actually in my 20s. I'm 34. So when I tell them I'm 34, they're like, "Oh, you 34?" I'm like, "So what does that mean? Like, does that mean that I'm too old? Or does
No.
that mean that you thought
That
you were
means
gonna
that-
get over on, you were gonna mind fuck me because you thought I
Plus,
was younger and I wouldn't know what you was gonna do?"
That plus the whole
Intimidation.
once you intimidation, plus like that's more around like settling down ages. Like we're still like
Y'all not really ready to settle down, which is where I really want to take this conversation.
A lot of older guys, they don't want to go out to the clubs. They not.
I sure
go to the
don't.
Bar. They not. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of
I
where we're.
I think y'all see, but
at.
okay. So now that you're there, let me do this then, because the last time when I said, "Oh, I wouldn't date this a certain age," and you looked at me like sideways about it. Now that you say that, "Oh, when you're older, you want to settle down." That's not everybody.
I
See,
know.
and that's prejudging.
But that's what
people on another level, because
Right.
I can prejudge you and say, well, all you want to do is party and go out and do this and that. You're not ready to settle down. Then you turn around and get offended by it because you're like, no, you just trying to say that because of my age.
So it's
Right.
reverse
No.
discrimination.
Right.
Yeah. Now we're going nowhere because we're going in circles because you think I'm a one way and I think you one way because of a number of our age, and that's
Right.
not fair.
Right.
Well, here's what I was going to say earlier before I think Killian interrupted me.
sorry.
But but the thing about, in terms of like how young I would date, like I wouldn't really date somebody 25. Now I may fuck you, but I really look, I might fuck you, but I'm really not going to take you seriously in terms of dating. Only because, and I'm not saying that, and this is where it got tense for Christmas when we had that conversation. I'm not saying that there aren't mature 25-year-olds, because there are. And I was a mature 25-year-old. But here's the thing, and I'm older than you. I'm 18 years older than you. At 25, you are a different kind of 25-year-old. Like, you have your shit in order in terms of your home.
It's a select few.
It's a select few. But even as organized as you are in your life, you're still too immature for me. And when I say immature, I don't mean that like you act like a kid. What I'm saying is there's emotional maturity that you all lack. And you won't get that until you start to age, until you get through life experiences. And so what I'm saying is there's an emotional intelligence that you don't have. There's emotional maturity that you lack. And because you're at that age where you still want to go to the clubs, and maybe you are a 25-year-old that doesn't go to the club, But typically, you want to go to the club still. You still want to go to these pride events and, do all this little shit. I'm 43. I've been 25. I've done those things. I don't want to go back to 25. I don't want to do those things. And so even if you have a great job and you stand on your own feet financially, your age is still going to shine through at some point, either in your emotions or your inability to anchor me. I'm a grown-ass man, and I got grown man shit going on over here. And, I don't want to have to nurse you. I don't want to have to coddle. It's either going to show up in the way that you have sex, you're not going to be able to fuck, like the grown man I need. Or, you understand what I'm saying?
I get what
or maybe
you're
you're a 25-year-old and you might got some good-ass sex. But then, I don't need you calling me every time you need your cell phone bill paid. Or you struggling with your rent. You understand what I'm saying? Your age is always going to show up.
Like that, Craig.
Everybody is not like that, but what I'm saying is your age is going to show up in some capacity. That's what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying on the emotional part because sometimes they don't meet you there emotionally.
Yes.
Yes, sex can be bomb and great and all that kind of stuff, and but then it comes to the other part where is the emotion there? Like, are we just having good sex?
Right. Like when I've had a very long day, a busy day, a heavy day, and I really need to come home and dump that someplace. If you can't anchor me. What you here for?
They'll feel it. You're saying they'll feel attacked. Because you're actually unleashing it.
What can they give me to help me feel better? If I feel like the world, the weight of the world is on my shoulders, and I need to really say something to my partner, like what can you really say to help smooth that shit over for me? To let me know, baby, listen, I got you. You're like, it's gonna be like, can you really feed me?
Right.
So let me ask you, Craig, what would be a acceptable age limit for you to know that they would understand where you're coming from?
But see, that's what I'm saying. I can't really say a specific age. There is no specific age. But what I'm saying is, I know I couldn't date a 25-year-old.
You gave last time when I asked that same question, and remember just now when I said what you were saying and referencing to saying, oh well,
but that's a matter of perspective. Like that's just like.
Isn't that?
That's just like that's just like first. That's just like just looking at it. Like, but I always believe in like actually getting to know a person before you actually cross them out.
Should be everybody.
Right.
You should want to get to know people before you have sex with them.
But see, y'all are saying that at that age, it's automatically crossing out. Like y'all
for a relationship, it is for me.
But Craig, you got people that are 43.
Because you don't even know where their brain is.
You got people that are 43 that are doing the same thing at 25.
Absolutely.
Because they didn't get it right at 25.
Absolutely.
But you got people
at 25 doing the same thing.
You got to talk separately. You got to talk separately. Go ahead.
You got people that are 25 doing things that people that are 43 and 45 that are doing. Then you got people. It's vice versa. So you can't say that what you just said. You can't just say.
No, I can, because what I'm saying is at 25, I know that's going to be your experience.
How do you know?
How do you know that?
Because your age is always going to show up. You have not lived past 25. I know what it's like to be 25.
You haven't experienced
enough life.
You to tell them what they have experienced.
I'm telling you.
You are no one to tell them what they have experienced. They probably experienced
I don't care what your experiences are.
Have.
What I'm saying is not about what you've experienced. What I'm telling you is you're not going to have the emotional capacity or the emotional maturity or the financial maturity. Your age is going to show up in some aspect.
Let's just say
they could have been on their own since the age of 13.
Let's just say it was
that has nothing to do with whether or not you have the emotional maturity.
Let me ask you this question then.
That has nothing to do with
Let's just say one of your parents have been through so much. They've been through a marriage and a divorce and all that kind of stuff. And they're telling you the same thing like he's telling you because they're of that age. Are you gonna go back on them and say, "Well, you can't tell me that because I've experienced, I've done."
Well,
they're
parents. They're your parents.
No, what's the difference? They're still.
I could be your father. I graduated and you were just born.
You're not my father. You didn't raise me, so you. My parents know exactly what I've been through.
All I'm saying is I've been 25.
You don't.
Not always. Parents don't always know what you've been through.
And the parents that don't know are the parents are the ones of the parents that cannot say.
Is that the 45-year-old that's still trying to be 25?
Who?
The 45-year-old.
Right. The one that don't have the parents that don't know what they did. Or been through.
And see, and that's the point that I was going to make too. Yes, there are men in their 40s and 50s and 60s that still lack the emotional maturity. Again, I said earlier, the Peter Pan syndrome. There are men, but what I'm saying is I would go to lunch with a man that's 43 or 30 before I would go to lunch or dinner with somebody that's 25.
I still think you're still limited. I still think you're putting limits on it. But also, Craig, you're 43, but times were different back then than how times is now. So what you may have experienced at your 25 is totally different from...
I definitely don't want to go sit in a hookah lounge.
I'm not.
That's all y'all doing.
No.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Not all, but what I'm saying is times is he just really trying to come for the 25-year-old.
I'm sorry, but he said y'all.
I mean, this child. Hold on, this child sat in here on the first 30 minutes of the live taking pictures for Snapchat. For the first 30 minutes that we were here.
But also, y'all people that is 40 doing the same thing.
And I wouldn't date him either if he was 40.
Okay, but that's you. But get back to what we're talking about.
That is what I'm talking about.
Like I said, it's what you experienced at 25 may be a whole different thing from what a 25-year-old experiences now.
I understand that. But you still lack emotional maturity.
Says
life.
Okay.
You haven't had enough life.
Okay, do this. I want you to do an experiment.
Because you were
put something on both of them that you feel like, and see what answer you get.
Right.
But
no,
I understand what you're finna say. I do understand what you're finna say.
But I would like
also,
to hear
that's just what Craig is saying.
Well, I'm not.
He have a different outlook. He have a different outlook. I have a different outlook. You have a different outlook.
Let's just say as if he was in a relationship and that's what he wanted to dump on his partner.
Okay, but that's his partner. What he's looking for.
First of all, let me say this. What I'm saying to you is, at 25, you have not had enough relationship experience to be able to do shit for me other than fuck.
Okay, so what's the difference between 25 and 28? You talk to somebody that was
3 more years of experience.
But 3 more years, but it's still the same age group.
But again, it's always differences, because what I'm saying is, like, for example, if you were 28 and you went into the military and you were over in Iraq, and that's a different kind of independence. Most of y'all ain't in the military.
Okay, so
and even at that point, it doesn't mean that a person has the emotional maturity.
Okay, correct there, because I was going to say, just because he went to the military,
right.
what makes that?
I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is just your average 25-year-old that just went to high school, may have gone to college. He barely getting out of his parents' house. He may be in his first apartment. What I'm saying to you is, I've never filed for bankruptcy, right? Okay. But let's just say if I was, thinking about filing for bankruptcy, and what can you fucking tell me about bankruptcy?
Okay, I understand that.
What do you know about bankruptcy?
But I don't.
Exactly.
But what I'm saying is, you don't have enough life experience.
What if that 25-year-old's parents went through bankruptcy? Well, they know a lot more than you know already.
But that's your parents. That's not you.
Right. But he knows though. That doesn't mean he didn't go through it.
So he just said something.
What I just said.
Just like somebody can be 30, just getting their first apartment. When I was 17, I had my first apartment.
Right.
It's different. So it's not about the outlook. It's about the experience. So
exactly.
You can't say what I have experienced in 25 years. What you have experienced.
How many times have you been out of the country? I'm listening.
I haven't been out of the country.
And you? I had my first passport at 17.
Okay, now
I got my passport.
You can have a passport if you ain't left these U.S. borders. It doesn't matter. So what I'm saying to you is that's a difference there. I'm not saying that you don't have room to grow.
He's not saying all the experiences. He's saying certain experiences.
You don't have enough collection of experiences.
But you're taking that and you're making it
just
categorizing all 25-year-olds and exiting them out. Even though I haven't been anywhere out the country.
Let me ask you a question.
That doesn't mean the next 25
would you date an 18-year-old?
If they need me mentally.
Yes or no? It's a yes or no question.
If they meet you mentally, that's what I'm saying. I don't know a 25-year-old that's met me mentally.
But that doesn't mean there's not one.
Okay, well he must be on another side of the world.
Tell me this. Why would you not even giving them a chance?
Why would you say if they was there mentally?
Right. If they were there
mentally, how?
Like mentally there with me, like.
That's what I'm trying to get. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Mentally, how? How is he gonna mentally meet you?
What do you mean?
Are you talking about experience?
How is he going to be your mental?
Yeah, you said mentally.
Match.
So what are you looking for in an 18-year-old mentally?
The same thing I'll be looking for in anyone else.
You just said an 18-year-old's not going to give you that.
I didn't say that. I never said that an 18-year-old wasn't giving you that. I said if an 18-year-old could meet me where.
Okay, so what if he didn't have a car and he's 18?
What if he didn't have a car and he was 30?
But
What's
see,
the difference?
No shade, but
What's the difference?
I don't have a car.
he don't have a car. He's 43.
But he got money to get around.
Okay,
And listen, and I don't have a car because I don't want a car. I could go and get a car tomorrow. But my point is, an 18-year-old may not have a car, but does he have money to zip around town? Can he jump on a plane when he wants to jump on a
Maybe have
plane?
the job for it.
See, I can do all of those things. So
Maybe, though.
And see, that's the thing too. Your mentality at 25, thinking that because you have a car that you think you setting the world on fire. That means nothing. Do you know how many cars I've had in my life since 17?
I don't even want to know.
I've had cars since I was 17.
I'm 25 and I'd have had a lot of cars. Hell, I got two now.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, your values at 25 aren't matched to that of a 43-year-old. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So there's a difference. But that's just the scope of what. That's not even what the scope of what we're talking about in this conversation. That's the surface of it. But I really wanted to talk about how do you guys approach dating? Because you're at 34. This is three different generations. You guys are in the same generation. You're 34. I'm 43. So how do you What is it that you're looking for in terms of relationships? Because from my vantage point, it just seems like people, and I think social media has a big part of it.
Oh, yes.
I think that social media has really become like the death of relationships because it makes the world feel closer together. Because you can simply log onto your Instagram or your Facebook and you looking at people in Miami, people in Trinidad and Tobago, like you looking at all these people, and it just feels like they're closer because you feel like you're a part of their lives. And so when you meet someone, it's almost like you don't really invest fully because you're like, oh well shit, I can go here and jump in somebody's inbox and I can talk to somebody else. So how do you approach?
I think you should start with their generation
Yes.
since they're younger.
Since you got all the answers.
Because this one over here seemed like he just relationship expert.
Right.
I'm not no relationship expert. I'm just.
And how long you been single?
About 2 years.
Okay.
What happened?
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
We listening. Was it abusive?
No. It was controlling. It was very controlling.
Who was
he
controlling?
older?
Yes.
How much older?
3 years.
Was he controlling or you controlling?
He was controlling.
And then what did you do based off of his control?
Kind of fell back a little bit.
I'm gonna need you to move your hand from in front of your mouth so we can hear over here on this
would
microphone.
you say that you've been single for 2 years because you're not trusting of someone? You think someone is going to come in and control you again?
No, I think I'm single because I know what I'm looking for.
And what is
are
that?
you looking for?
Someone who can
You don't know.
give as much as I. Let me finish. Yeah, for someone who can give as much as I give, someone who can match me, you know what I'm saying? Like
match in what areas?
And
and what are you giving? What are you bringing to the table?
Financially.
Okay, but that's like going to a job interview and saying, "Why should we hire you?" And the answer that you give is, "Because I'm reliable." Okay.
But wait, what was your answer?
To what?
What was your answer to the question? Like, what is it that you're looking
somebody
for?
who can meet him mentally,
emotionally. You know what I'm saying? Financially.
I'm looking for a deeper connection because, let's just say I wanted to date you right now. You giving me those answers, we sitting at dinner, and I'm about to pay for dinner, you wasting my time right now. Because I don't want to hear, I want somebody who's mentally, emotionally. Right. You just going down a list, and you're not really telling me, you're not giving me nothing. Because for me...
Well, if we're on a date and you're judging me because of that, and not actually getting to know me, then that's your loss.
That's not getting to know you, though, because you didn't tell me. I want to know your goals. I want to know where you want to be in about 5 years.
And see, at 25,
I want to know. Ask me that.
No, I just asked you that, and you said I want somebody that's going to be mentally.
But see, that asked me
But that goes to my point too, because I'm a very big person on communication, being able to articulate your feelings. Yeah. And a lot of times, and there's no shade, but a lot of times at 25, you can't really do that.
Okay. Let me ask you this, since we're kind of like in the same bracket. That what he just said, when I said, what are you looking for? You asked him the same thing. What is he looking for? And he said, I'm looking for somebody who could do something for me and meet me. Meet you where? Mentally, emotionally, physically. Okay. This is boring at this point because you didn't tell me about you. It's like me asking you, tell me something about you that I don't know.
Oh, I hate that question.
But that should be a question that should always be asked when you're about to date somebody.
I
because
feel like that's a
it's
lazy
an icebreaker.
way out of getting
no,
to
it's
know
not. It's
somebody.
an icebreaker because after that, you might say something that might catch my attention that's interesting about you. That now we're gonna have a conversation about. If I say, tell me something I don't know about you, and you say, well, I do paintings. And I do paintings in, like when I'm alone at home. Oh, cool. What kind of paintings do you? Now we having a full conversation. You get what I'm saying? Now I'm feeding off of what you just gave me.
I just
but
feel
if
like you just asking me questions.
No, I'm trying to get to know you because you let me into your world a little bit. See, that's the difference. You're letting me in your world, but when you say mentally, physically, emotionally, okay, everybody want that.
Okay,
Right.
pause. So how would you answer that question? We're going to flip it on you.
Okay, so ask me the question again.
How would you answer that question?
So ask me the question that I asked him. So everybody understands.
Do y'all even remember the question?
Yes, I asked him. So
See, that's the other thing.
I remember.
I thought he was talking to him.
Go ahead, Keith. Ask him the question.
What are you looking for in a person?
I'm looking for a person that's goal oriented, got loyalty all the way across the board for me, stability, knows where they're going in life, knows what they want. You know what your goals are set in. Where do you want to be here in 5 years? Where do you want to be here in 10 years? That's long-term and short-term goals. I want to know exactly what kind of stuff you like. What's your favorite color? Like, I want to know everything about, let's like get into the mold of everything.
Go ahead.
Let's tip the surface so that way after this first date, when I get to know those things, really when a person opens their mouth about their goals, that's kind of how I actually get drawn into a good date.
Right.
Because that's going to tell me exactly where you feel like this is the mental now. Because you really, in order for you to achieve your goals, you really have to think about this. And if you've already thought about it, that means you know where you want to be in life. That means we both know at this point on whether or not this going to work or not. Because if your goal is, I want to drive a Maserati in a couple of years. I'm trying to buy.
Right.
Because now I see you.
Now let me tell you what I would say.
Who's not ready?
Hold on, wait. Let me comment on that because you just pretty much said exactly what I said, but just made it longer.
But you didn't go into depth.
You didn't say
tipped
that
the surface.
Because that was a surface question. Like if you asked me what my goals was, then that would have been a different. That would have been a different answer.
You just asked the same question I asked you, and your answer to my question was mentally. Somebody would meet me. I said meet you where? Mentally, physically, emotionally. Okay.
Physically, emotionally,
okay,
financially.
Now, and here's my answer.
Guess what I'm finna sit there and do.
My answer is this, and I said this last night. I said, first of all, what I'm looking for is integrity. Mm-hmm. I need to know how you were raised. Did your parents raise you together? Were you raised in an abusive relationship? Mm-hmm. Like, did you see that? Mm-hmm. Like, I need to know that kind of shit.
Right.
Yeah, I want to know, do you enjoy the work that you do? What are you passionate about? Where do you see... Like, and I'm not going to sit there and say, well, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Because I think that's corny. But I really want to know, like, what is it that you want out of life? What's your passion? Mm-hmm. What are you passionate about? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the kinds of, like, do you believe in partnership? Do you believe in monogamy? Because I don't want to get into a relationship with somebody who doesn't really believe in monogamy. Right. And then in terms of being a black gay man, I want to know, what are your religious beliefs, and have you reconciled your spiritual and or religious belief with your sexuality? Hold on, because now you got a lot to say. Hold on. But then also, how does your family see it? Right. You know what I'm saying? Are you comfortable in your skin? Mm-hmm. Because I can't go back into the closet with you.
Right.
I'm not doing that.
Right. Back into the closet.
And we talked about this the other day.
But that's my thing. It's like, then ask me those questions. Don't make the question so broad. Like that question that you asked me, what do you want in a person? Like, that's so...
I mean, but you're gonna get that. That's the question you're gonna get all the time.
But I feel like when you ask me those questions, I feel like when you ask me that question, it's like,
if I was to ask Craig that question, what the answer he just gave me is the answer he's gonna come out with.
Hey, that's what I would have said.
Right, but
so that's the difference. That's what he's saying. Your experience with this is different than his experience.
So, like, I feel like, but that's just me. That's just me though.
If you go into a job interview and they ask you that question, they ask you, hey, why should we hire you? Is that what you gonna give a surface answer like that? And you think that they're gonna hire you because you didn't? Oh no, wait, ask me again because that's not the way you asked me. You can't go into an interview and do it all over again. No. It's the same thing as a getting to know somebody on the first tip basis. It's the same. It's an interview. That's all it is. It's to see if you're the right fit for this, for us moving forward. Because if this is not the right fit for you or me, it ain't no reason for us to talk no more. Dinner's over, date is over, and we done.
And for me, and I approach dating, like dating is a screening process.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's that period of time where I get to spend time with you to figure out if I like you and want to build something with you, and you get to figure out the same thing. And so what I'm saying is, at 25, like I just don't know if not don't know. I'm not talking about a unicorn. You understand what I'm saying? There might be a 25-year-old somewhere in the world.
And rainbows and sparkles.
Correct. But what I'm saying is, typically and generally speaking, a 25-year-old just doesn't have enough life experiences. Now, if you come back to me at 35 and I'm now 53, that's a different conversation. No, because see, he's going to be a good-looking 53. Don't get it fucked up.
What makes you think that at 30 something that I haven't moved on? But you missed out on that growth.
Look, I'm gonna tell you something.
No, I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to grow with you.
I'm not sure.
I need you to.
What?
I don't want to grow with you to your adulthood. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, there are things at 25 that you want to do that I don't want to travel down that road with you. Like, you need to date and explore still. You need to travel still. You need to probably go out to the gay pride events, and you might need to play on Jack a little longer if that's what you're gonna do. Like, I don't want that. Like, I don't want to have to teach you.
Do you have that on your phone?
How to be in relationship with me.
Is that something that's on your phone? It's like one of those apps. Mm-hmm. Do you play around with it?
No, not really.
You don't really use it?
No.
So what is your stance right now? If somebody comes up and asks if you're ready to be involved in a relationship, what's your answer to that?
Yeah.
You don't seem too sure.
No, because it's just like.
I mean, if you're ready.
I mean, it's like a yes or no question. Yeah.
I mean, and at the stage that I'm at, like, I'm really ready to partner. Like, I'm ready to, and I don't mean like overnight, but what I'm saying is I'm ready to build with somebody, and like to the point where we buying property or we traveling.
Right.
Like, you're 25, you ain't thinking about buying nothing. You trying to get it through your first lease on an apartment. And I'm not being funny when I say that. I'm being serious.
Wait, hold on.
You ain't bought no house yet.
No, I haven't bought a house yet, but I was looking into it when I was with somebody, because I was dating and finna get married to somebody that was older than me. So at 21, those were the things that I was looking for.
But you don't know exactly what they're looking for until you actually get to know them.
First of all,
I know what a 25
happens.
is looking for.
Well, first of all, I stepped off the porch when I was 17. So by the time I became 21, I had to experience my first apartment and everything. So I was in my mind, I was already planning, how could I get my credit together? How could I buy a house? What could I do to get a house? And I'm still trying to do that now. Yeah, I'm renting, but that's still in my goals. That's still my plan to buy a house. Because by 30, I want to have everything in order. I don't want to be.
But that's
what you want.
That's what you want. That's not always what happens. Like, listen. At 35, I had just moved. It's all right up here. I had just moved to L.A. when I was 35. My move to L.A. was my 35th birthday. Hold on, it was my 35th birthday to myself. Birthday gift to myself, because life had fallen apart. We had just come through that whole housing market crash shit. I did not have a car. Car had been repossessed at that point. I was living with my friend Angela. So dating was the last thing on my mind, because it was just like, dating is expensive for one. Like, I just felt like I needed to get my shit together before I even be trying to be in a relationship, because there's a lot you bring your full self to a relationship. At least you should. And I didn't have anything to bring at that point. And I don't mean because I wasn't working and stuff like that, but like mentally and emotionally, I was checked out. I was tapped out. And so I didn't have time for that.
And you're what age?
I was 30. I was 34, and I was just about to turn 35, and I moved to LA. And I was staying with people. And that first month that I lived in LA, or first 2 or 3 months, I moved 3 times.
Okay, but that's what you experienced at 35.
But my point is, you think that you're going to have your shit together at 30. Maybe you will have shit in 30, but you keep living. You'll get your opportunity to lose some shit, to regain some shit, to go through a depression. That's what I'm saying. You haven't had enough life experience.
Now, I'm going to tell y'all this.
How could you say that at 25 that I haven't experienced that? You don't know.
That's my point right there.
At 25.
That's my point. Don't know.
Y'all missing it.
I'm not missing it.
You are missing it because y'all still on the surface. You haven't brought yourself through some shit. You haven't been through a process. a process that God, the universe, takes you through.
Okay, and a 50-year-old can say the exact same thing about you, though.
Right. Because
but I have.
okay, so listen.
But says the 50-year-old you haven't. Because he's lived longer. He says you're not.
No. Because see, at 43 and 50, there's not enough. I've had enough life experience.
No.
A 50-year-old
The only thing 50-year-old says you have not.
The only
50-year-old says you got a lot more to learn. The 60-year-old says you got a lot more to learn.
Okay, I'm gonna piggyback. I'm not agreeing.
See, exactly.
Okay, wait. I'm not agreeing with Craig.
Hold on.
I'm not agreeing with Craig. I understand where he's coming from only because I'm relating. He said he got up and he picked up and he moved to LA at 35. Mm-hmm. Now I'm 34, and I just decided to leave the state. The very first one in my family to leave the state. Mm-hmm. I'm the only one in my family to leave the state. I was 33, which was last year. I moved here to Atlanta. Okay, and I was 33. So, and I this after I just finished talking to a girl that was sitting at the bar somewhere saying, "Oh, well, I just picked up all my stuff and moved from Alabama to Houston." I'm like, "You did that?" I'm like, "I would be very scared to do that." And this is a 30-something-year-old woman. Mm-hmm. Here I am, 33, thinking, I don't know why she did that. It was stupid. Here I am at 33, picking up my stuff.
And leaving.
Packed up all my stuff. I left at 33. Now I'm 33 years old, and I'm finally about to like spread my wings and go try this new city. I don't know nobody here. Right. I don't have no family here. Right. I don't know what. So I kind of can relate to what he's saying. I've slept in my car while I've been here in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. People don't know that, but it's not for people to know. It's an experience I had to bring myself through to understand the reasons why I'm getting what I get at the age I'm getting it. You know
I'm not saying that you have to go through a bankruptcy. I'm not saying you have to lose a car. You're missing the point if that's all you're hearing me say.
No,
what I'm saying is, first of all, there's a shift that happens when you turn 30. You're not 30, so you don't know anything about that shift. There's a shift, an emotional, an internal shift that happens. You're probably going to change friendships. Mm-hmm. You may move jobs. You may move to a whole nother state.
It's within yourself.
It's an internal shift that happens. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's another shift that happens at 35.
It is.
Then there's one at 40. Like there's certain cataclysmic things that happen.
Just like there's one at 18, 25, 30.
Right. So
but you haven't gotten to the. You haven't gotten to an emotional shift yet.
Okay, so here I am at 28. Right. I'm in Austin, Texas. I moved from Houston to Austin. I was only there for 9 months. Met my ex there, okay? I wasn't even trying to worry about no relationship because I'm like, I'm 28, I'm about to be 30 soon. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. And never did I think I was going to be in a relationship. Ended up being in a relationship with this person for almost 6 years. Mm-hmm. Okay. We went through what we went through. I got married. Was married for a year. That person wasn't ready for me. But when we got married, everything changed, but that person still wasn't 30. I was in my 30s. So my whole thing is, the reason why we got a divorce is because they lied to me. And for me, that was a big deal. To some other people, they're like, oh, it's just a little lie. Really? Is it? No, a lie is a lie. Period. We were together. If we pillow talk for 6 years every night, and I wake up to you and you tell me that you were scared to tell me something because you thought that I was going to judge you in any kind of way. How am I judging you? After 6 years, I've sat there while you shitted in the bathroom while I'm in the shower. I mean, damn. But I couldn't even get that much from you for you to tell me. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So at 30, my perception is a little different because I've already internally changed myself to make sure that between 30 to the age of 40, I'm not still fucking up the same way I was fucking up back at 20. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You do internally change. Yes, you have those milestones, 18, 21, 25. But then when you get to 30, it is a total different ballgame. You are now kicking yourself in the high gear saying, whoo, I don't really have too much long. Because after 30, it goes like this. I'm already 34 and I feel like I just turned 30 yesterday. When I turned 30, I was like, it's all right, and it's time for me to go. I party hard. At 30, I partied. I partied at 30 and had a good birthday party and said, I want to go get me a BMW. What I got when he got me a BMW, but it didn't make me happy.
Ultimately, what we're saying is your priorities are different at 25.
They're very different.
Than they are at 30, than they are at 35, than they are at 40. Like the things that I needed at 25 are very different from what I need now. So at 25, the way that I dated at 25 is very different from how I dated at 43. Different. So my needs have changed. So the things that I needed and required at 25, it's very different now. And I know that a 25-year-old hasn't had enough life experiences or shifts, internal shifts, to even be able to handle somebody like me. Aside from not having traveled or having been to college, like
I wasn't worried about 401k at 20 something because I was like, I don't need that. I need my money. You ain't taking none of that shit out of my
I was worried
check.
about 401k at 18.
Exactly, because I got my
I understand
401k,
that, but understand I was still in my 20s too.
Yeah.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? I'm saying at 20s, but at 30, I'm like, no, I need my 401k because 30 more years, hell, my body's changing. I might need, that assistance. I don't know. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I understand what Craig is saying. He's not beating y'all down for being at 20 something.
It's not the fact that he's beating us down. It's just the fact that he's excluding all 25 years old. Because he said it. He said
no, I'm excluding all 25.
He's excluding all of them because he's saying 25 is not an age where you've had enough experience
to bring value to my life,
to his life.
Right.
But now I don't know about no other 43-year-old. Now there might be some very immature 43-year-olds that could be okay with a 25-year-old.
And there could be an extremely mature 25-year-olds that meet exactly what the fuck.
But your age is always going to shine through.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how mature you are. Your age it's going to show up in the way that we argue. You're going to be sitting there not responding to my text messages, not returning. Like, that silly, dumb shit. I'm spitting all over the place. Right. But your age is always going to...
because you do the same thing, don't you?
He does it now. And see, and what I'm saying to you... and what I'm saying to you is, see, that's very immature.
Childish.
It's not only...
Why do you do it?
Hold on. Not only is it childish, but it's counterproductive to a relationship. Anybody who's serious about being in a relationship, you're not doing shit to work against the relationship. And sitting there and ignoring my messages or ignoring my calls when there's an issue on the table and you can't talk about it because you're walking around pouting, that's counterproductive.
Right. I mean, I can understand that.
And I'm not saying that there aren't 40-year-olds that wouldn't do that. I'm not saying that.
And I understand that in a relationship. I can understand that.
I understand what both of y'all saying. I just look at myself like I wouldn't date if you know me, y'all both know me. Mm-hmm. He know me. I never dated nobody my age. The reason why is because I just feel like even though it's my age and what you're saying, but I kind of agree a little bit in a certain type of way. But people that are my age, like you say, some of them are very immature. Some of them still staying home with their parents. Some
playing video games. Some
of them still don't. They don't have a car, which not saying having a car is a problem, but their goals and their mindset is way different for what I want.
Right.
What I want is totally different from what an average 25-year-old wants.
What's your preference? Do you prefer older or younger?
I prefer older.
And why is that?
I prefer older because in a way they are more mature. Because he gonna try to contradict what I'm saying. He can't wait because he's right in the little.
Looking at you.
And even though I'm trying to defend us, but in the way Craig is right there, a 25. Well, people that are older than us,
to be more mature.
I expect them, right? I expect them to be more older. But then again, I dated somebody who was older than me, but he was in the club he was mature, but he was in the club every weekend, and that's not what I want. That's not what I was doing.
That makes sense if you're young and you know what I'm saying, you're mature and you want somebody that's mature.
But that goes back.
You going to an older person, that makes sense because you expect them to be mature. You know what I'm saying?
And it goes back to the outlook and the experience.
See, they're speaking differently because they think because we're younger that we're not as mature.
Same stuff he's experienced. I don't want to be 40 either in the club looking to take something home.
Good night.
Absolutely not.
Right.
Because
40-year-olds
to me, I'm looking at a 40-year-old now. And even though I'm 34, in the club picking up them little young hotties like, oh, look what I drive, look what I got. You throwing yourself at them and it's not hot at all.
That don't impress me.
That's not impressive.
That's not impressive
to me.
But it impresses a lot of 25.
It does. It does. It impresses them.
Because like you said, when you were 30, you wanted the BMW. I got my first BMW cash. I bought it myself at 19.
Girl, my first BMW.
See y'all still.
No, I'm not saying material. It's not about material. It's not about material. It's not about material.
Because see, that's all I hear y'all saying.
I felt like I was going to be a man if I drove a bigger car.
Right.
But at 16,
but you know what? In all honesty, I got rid of it. It wasn't for me. Because I felt like, because that's when what he's talking about, an internal change at 30, I still was trying to be 20-something when I first turned 30. And then I got in my mid-30s and I was like, this is not making me happy. What makes me happy is to try to maintain myself, to put my goals out there, to get myself somewhere in life. because now I got to really be serious about where I'm going. Because if I'm not serious about it, then nobody else gonna be serious about it. That's even involving somebody that's a partner to mine.
And what I keep hearing both of you say in one way or another is that you're mature because you stand on your own feet, you got your own car, or you got your own place, or I've done this. I'm not talking about those.
You're gonna lose stuff still in your 30s.
I'm still losing stuff.
You're gonna lose stuff in your 30s.
But also, Craig, it's like you said. We always say this. It goes back to what you are. It goes back to home, how you are upbringing. It goes back to that.
But your upbringing will give you a foundation, but your upbringing cannot give you life experiences. I grew up in a single parent home,
but guess what? I grew up in a single parent home, but I want a relationship. Like, I want a partner, but I want a partner who's willing to travel with me. I want a partner who's willing to do things with me that I want to, like little small things to make me happy. I'm willing to be with a partner who actually wants to go invest in property.
And you don't think that a 25 or 21-year-old would?
At 25, you're not even thinking like that. And if you are, and if you are thinking like that, you ain't got no money to do it.
Says who, Chris?
The average 21, 25-year-old is still digging in their parents' pocket for money to take me on a date. Sit down.
The average. And
that's the majority of y'all.
Well, girl, not in my case, girl.
Girl, the majority of y'all. The majority of y'all. You can't go. If I said to you, hey, I want to jump up and go to Dubai next week, you got $1,300 for a flight?
Boots.
You got $1,300 for a flight. Whatever. Cut it out. Cut it out.
But
cut it out.
No, you wouldn't know because you're not looking at my bank statement.
Cut it out.
You weren't looking at my bank statement.
But here's where I want to shift the conversation.
Exactly. Shift it.
I do think that in the black, let me take that back. I do think that in the gay community, when you talk about two men dating, oftentimes you really do find older guys preying, preying, on young guys. Because they're either because the older guy is not developed, right, or he's suffering from the Peter Pan syndrome, which I keep saying he's not grown up mentally, and so he's dating these young boys and trying to still get his groove on, and still want to feel like he, popping. And that
comes from he hasn't had enough dating relationship experience, in my opinion,
and so he's dating you.
So now he's clicked in
because you can't challenge him.
All through his 30s, he didn't get what he needed.
Yeah.
Now he 40, he out there trying to find it, and you no longer got it. You don't even know where to get it from because your mental is so fucked up that you don't know what you want now. So now you gonna go play on younger.
It's the same reason why. It's the same reason why older guys will a lot of time date these high school girls because they haven't developed mentally and they know they can pull some shit up on a young girl that they can't pull up on no grown ass man or woman.
I agree.
It's the same kind of thing. I'm not telling you.
Money in your face. Yeah. Right now, that's about around 50.
And oftentimes, an older guy is a draw for a young guy like you, or 25 or 23, whatever, because we usually do have a little extra money to take you on a date, or give you a little money to put a little spending pocket, spending change.
A pay now.
Yeah.
A pay now. So you can continue to call me.
And I'm gonna go a little deeper for you. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Because see, the majority of when you talk about black gay men, the majority of us were raised in single parent households. Now, my parents were together, but the majority, whether you're talking about gay black men, bisexual black men, or heterosexual black men, most of us were raised in single parent households by a woman, either our grandmother, our mother, or an auntie. Yeah. And my point is, most of us haven't seen a demonstration of a relationship working with two people together. And so that's another thing that's weaved in there too. So you got to think about all of those things. It's not always. Oh, that phone is dying. It's not always about.
Go get the charger real quick.
The advantage that I had.
Go ahead.
Speaking of that, the advantage that I had, my grandmother pretty much taught me the basics, which is what I used when I got in my 20s because I was always an independent person, and I had to know how to cook. How to clean, how to keep myself up, how to dress, how to be in front of people, how to present myself, what to say, how to say it, who to say it to, and when to speak. Because she raised me old school, and that's the experience that I had as a young person. Right. Because she taught me these values that I needed to grow with. And so now that I'm in my 30s, it's no longer that I'm like reverting back to that, like, okay, what did she teach me about this? It's not so much as that. It's I've already set my ways when I was around y'all age to get to this age to say, okay, I know better than this. I know better than to do this. I know better than to say this. I know better than to date this type of person. Because I came out to my grandmother when I was 16. And I told her. And it was stuff that I talked to my grandmother about I couldn't talk to my mother about. Because I was scared to approach my mother about it. You get what I'm saying? But my grandmother understood. So she was like, let me teach you how to cook. Let me teach you how to clean for yourself. Let me teach you how to wash clothes, how to wash dishes. Let me teach you how to do these things for you personally.
Right.
So I took those personal traits and I incorporated that with myself.
And you see what you just said? That's what I just said 2 minutes ago. That's what I was meaning by the upbringing of what is installed into you. Because you're older than me, but what you're saying is how I feel. With everything you just said, that's what I was trying to say 2 minutes ago. Is exactly you just said the same exact thing. You elaborated a little more, but that's the exact same thing. And we're two different. You're 10 plus years older than me.
But now let me tell you something about what Craig said. Me losing a car or a job or a house or an apartment, shall I say, at 25 is going to be completely different at 30. Because at 30, I don't want to move back in my parents' house to make it easy like that. I'm not trying to move back with my mama. But at 25, the 25 me, because I'm not internally there yet, would have been like, okay, I'm just, okay.
That's you.
But that's you.
I'm about to go over there.
Because 25,
Where y'all going?
me.
Where y'all going?
Because 25-year-old
Where
me
you going?
can't go back. You can't go back there. You can't go back there. So
I
it's
couldn't
all on
either.
me. Exactly. So 30.
That's my mentality, though.
Right. But see, at 34-year-old you, I still have that same mentality because when this shit fails, where I'm gonna go? Who's gonna take care of me? Me. Because I can't rely on that. I can't rely on that. I'm by myself. This is it for me. So that doesn't mean just because I'm 25, that doesn't mean I don't have the same mentality or I'm not on the same mindset as where you're at right now.
Though.
Exactly, but that doesn't mean I have not had that
mentality and
experience.
experience is two different
Just because
things.
you're 30, that doesn't mean. Who says I haven't slept in my car?
I didn't say you
Who
did.
said? Who said?
I never said
who
a
says that
25-year-old couldn't.
Who says
But
that at 18?
I just said at 25,
Who
my
says that at
experience
21
my
I didn't pick up my
experience
shit
with
and move?
Would have been different because
You know
my
what I'm saying?
experience
To a
at
whole city
25,
that I didn't know.
My experience at 25 would have been, let me just go back to my mama's
that
house.
was your experience.
That's me thinking about that. But my experience now is, shit, sleep in your car till you make it. Fake it till you make it or whatever, because I'm not going to. I feel like I'm too old to be doing that at this point. I don't get a second chance. You get what I'm saying?
But
That's
the other
what I
piece,
feel.
the other piece that I neglected to say too was when I was talking about how most black men, gay or straight, are raised in single women households. The other part of it is when you talk about gay boys being raised by women, a lot of times you gravitate to an older guy because a lot of you have daddy issues. Because, and I'm not saying that in a funny way. I'm really serious.
You
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's some daddy issues there, so that's another reason why a lot of y'all want to date these
At
older
25
guys.
or 40, you went through, people your age went through the same thing that we went through at 25. They ain't have no daddy.
You gravitate to what you know.
Yeah, you gravitate to what you know. So you saying it's more common in younger ages.
No, I didn't say that.
I'm not saying it's more common. I'm saying that it's more common.
No, it was like that when I was growing up. When I was in my 20s and when I first went to Atlanta, I was 22. And I just started venturing into the gay clubs and stuff like that. And there were guys my age then that were standing in the clubs every week. They had their little fitted baseball caps on, had their throwback jerseys on, these flashy young sneakers, trying to look young.
Right, but you said most of y'all, majority of y'all have daddy issues. But what I'm saying is y'all had that at your age too.
I understand that. Okay. I was just talking about the age group. I'm not talking
when I was
about
growing up, social media wasn't big. It was not big at all. So
I think that's what
when I came out to my mother said, "Do I seem shocked?" I said, "No." She said, "The only thing I tell you is to take care of yourself, your responsibilities, and your personals. Everything else, I don't care about your lifestyle and what you're doing with your life, but you need to make sure that you're taking." And I took those three things and I said, "You know what? It makes sense because she probably had gay friends and she kept them from around me when I was young, so that wouldn't happen." Do you get what I'm saying? Because now it's so much easier because you can go on the internet and see some gays. A young kid that
That's
age,
so crazy you said that because I have
15
a
and
female
16,
friend who has two boys and now
it's
we're
so
no
much
longer
easier
friends.
because society is accepting it a little bit more. They're putting it out on TV.
It's on TV, right?
They're putting it out on social media. It's easier now. But back then, when we were coming out to our parents, or when we were scared as shit to tell our parents about that kind of stuff because this is not something that, you know, oh no, we in the church, we don't want to go there. And
I also think it depends on who your parents are, how they were brought up as well.
It also depends on where you grew up.
And where.
Because the southern states, a lot of you all struggled a little bit more with... Oh, no, I'm sorry. Sometimes up north, it's harder to come out because it's just northern. Like, you know, like... wait, I'm sorry. I'm saying that backwards. It's the north usually you kind of come up because we're more advanced up north. And I don't mean that in a funny kind of way. I just mean the country is the country. The country is a little slower.
Right.
Yeah.
They stubborn.
Right. And so, like, I have friends that came out at 13. He was from New York. The probability of that happening in it's a city. It's faster. You know, he was in a gay.
You got Chicago.
Yeah, he was in a gay support group at 13. You know what I'm saying? So it's about geography too. Yeah, a lot of that plays a part.
And where I'm from, I tell everybody this. When I'm from, everybody know I'm from Miami. People in Miami grow up way faster than people that I would say grow up in Conyers, Atlanta. If you're from there, I experienced things so much at a young age that an average person went from where I'm from, that an average person that my age wouldn't experience.
Now let me ask y'all this question. I'm glad you brought up the city thing. This is really good. Okay. So now we're in Atlanta, and a lot of people we hear it all the time. Oh, y'all live in Atlanta. Y'all this and that in Atlanta. A lot of people stereotype Atlanta as a non-relationship type of city. Do y'all feel like this is a right place to capture a relationship genuinely, not to be out spread out on social media to let everybody know this is what we doing, our every move, take pictures, this, that, and other. Not for social media stance, but do y'all think Atlanta is the place for a relationship, a good relationship standard? Can you find a good relationship steady here in Atlanta? It's not where you're at. It's about you. I can be in Houston and they can say the same thing about Houston. It's just who you run into, what you attract. It's what you're looking for. Yeah. It's not where you at. That's blind. And where do you look for it at? And I hear people say that all the time. But if you're in the club, you're gonna attract things that are in the club. If you're in church, you're gonna attract things in church. If you're just walking, what about if you're on social media though? But
I don't think it's that cut and dry.
No, it's not.
People think that because you meet somebody in church, you're gonna meet somebody wholesome. Some of the most
absolutely not.
Some of the most freaks.
That's not what I'm meaning. It's what you're attracted to. Because what you're attracted to is what you're attracted to. It's not about no matter where you are. If you don't find that appeasing, you're not gonna find that appeasing.
Well, I just said what I had to say. It's not about where you at. It's about what you attracted, and that's just all it to it. Like I can be, like I said, I can be in Houston, I can be in Miami, I can be in Puerto Rico. It just depends.
Whether I'm in church or in the club, if I see something I like, I see something I like. If I'm on the track,
why do y'all keep talking at the same time?
Girl, I'ma shut up, girl.
Well, because every time he start talking, then you ramp back.
I know. This is why I have to yell over.
Go ahead. Slow down on that cocktail.
I ain't even drunk.
But no matter. I feel like it's no matter where you are, what state or what environment or what setting. If you're attracted to somebody, then you're attracted to somebody. You know, if you like something, then you like something. If you don't like something, you don't like something. And I feel like no matter what state you're in, you know what I'm saying, it's always people. It's always someone there that, you know, will match, you know what I'm saying, what you...
But where do you meet these people at?
It's not, because you can meet them anywhere. It could be anywhere from a grocery store to...
Now, we know you're not walking in no... This is not Noah's Ark, okay?
You could meet somebody in a grocery store. No, from a grocery store.
What fantasy land you living in?
From a grocery store...
Mm-hmm. This is what I normally see.
I normally see museum.
Okay, I know. Oh, yeah.
What art museum?
That's not what we're talking about.
What art museum you going to?
He's talking about
right, but you talking about art museum and store.
Anywhere. I'm trying to make a point. I'm trying to make a point. Okay. Anywhere,
because from my experience, it's been house party, club, Instagram, and Facebook.
Bro, you
and see, people say to me all the time, like, "Well, where do you meet people?" Because like you don't go to the club. Like I did the club, and I'm not against the club. I just at 43, that's just not what I'm interested in doing anymore. I did it in my 20s and part of my 30s. But people say all the time, well, where do you meet people? Like, I don't understand how you meet people. Like the club is the only place. I'm like, you need to have a life. Like, you need to do other things. And I pride myself on having a friendship base that's part gay, that's part straight. I got white friends. I haven't talked to them in a very long time, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I have a mixture.
Right?
I have a mixture of things, and I just think that sometimes
you just got white just now.
I just think that people think that you know, you got to be at the club. You got to be immersed in the gay community or in the gay scene in order to meet somebody, and you don't.
Exactly.
So what do y'all think about the long distance?
Well, wait, before you say that, the thing that I was going to say about the what did you ask about the Atlanta? What I would say is, I don't think.
Yeah, I want to know what you think about that.
I think whether you're talking about gay or straight, I think Atlanta is a single person city.
You do?
I do, and I think that. Not to say that a relationship couldn't flourish here, couldn't thrive here, but when I first came into this community, I wouldn't date somebody who had just moved to Atlanta.
Okay.
Like, if you had lived here in under a year, I could do nothing for you. Because I felt like you had to kind of sow your oats. Like, you had to kind of see what was out there. And then maybe after a year or two, you played around and the city ate you up and spit you back out and you scraped your knees a little bit. Then you can come and appreciate me and what I bring. Because I just feel, and I'm not trying to say that I've always been a relationship ready person. I've always been relationship oriented, but I've not always been relationship ready. Right. Because I've dated people who were ready when I was in my 20s. And
that's lame, Craig. What if they came to Atlanta looking for love?
How are you trying to talk from the other room?
I'm just saying.
But, you know, like when I was in my 20s.
He in the bathroom.
When I was in my 20s and 30s, there was a time where I wasn't necessarily. Like, I remember dating a guy and he really liked me. And it scared me. First of all, I didn't know him well enough. And I said, listen, I've only known you 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have those butterflies and that kind of thing. If I had those kind of butterflies, but I think what happens is sometimes commitment scares people. But going back to the point that I was going to say about Atlanta, I just think that it's a single person city. It's a young professional city. It's a young educated city. You have a lot of colleges here. So people come out of college and they're making great money. They're getting into their field. I mean, I think the ratio women to male or women to men is like something like 22 or 23 to 1 when you're talking about heterosexual. We already know that it's the gay mecca, even bigger than San Francisco. There are more black gay, Hispanic gay, white gay people here. So, I mean, it's just, you got to really know who you are in a city like Atlanta.
Is a lot of people move to Atlanta for these big dreams because they see us on TV. They see us here and there, and they feel like, oh, I can move there. This is what's going to go on in Atlanta. So, me being from Houston, this is the difference I see between Houston and Atlanta. A lot of people say, well, you know, you can get a relationship in Houston. Houston is a grown city. No, it's a grown city. It's already grown. The only thing you can do in Houston is construction right now. Because everything it's already a grown city. It's got over 6 million people in that metropolitan area. Atlanta is a growing city. We're still getting people coming here from all walks of life.
We don't need nobody else here.
We don't. Cool. Traffic is terrible. I need y'all to stay away. But
please.
But at the end of the day, when you get here to Atlanta, you find new fresh meat out there. You find it's a new person on the scene, a new person on the block. That person's targeted. Somebody's gonna target that person. Oh, I haven't tried this person. I haven't seen this person before. And it gets to that point where these people are trying this person. So once you wore out, like he said, they eat you up and spit you out.
And some people move here and they get lost. That's not just gay. Some people move here and they get lost. They get so caught up in the scene.
Because they see it on TV and they don't.
And Atlanta's a city full of beautiful people.
It is.
And you know, people move here and they get caught up.
Yep. They get caught up in Atlanta hype.
Yeah. And I've seen many people move here to go to college at Morehouse and they end up flunking out and they take their asses back home, or they move here for a job.
Not everybody can make it in Atlanta.
And they partying. They partying every week, and then they never have money to live, and they have to go home.
You gotta take care of your business here.
Yeah.
And if you don't take care of your business here, yeah, you gonna fail, you gonna fall on your face. But if you don't know how to pick yourself up and you don't have a strong skin, you're not going to make it in Atlanta.
Okay, so you said something about dating long distance.
Yes, dating long distance. I want to know what y'all feel about dating long distance, because it is a thing these days.
Why
is it a waste of time?
Because you really don't get to know nobody.
That's a lie.
Well, see, I think part of the problem
is everybody's different over the phone from when you actually be.
We got FaceTime now. We got Facebook Messenger, FaceTime.
That's still over the phone. Actually being with someone face to face, in person, getting
What's
to know.
What's the difference with me conversing with you on FaceTime and conversing with you in face?
Because I don't know. I don't know exactly. I don't know all of you. I don't know if you got a body odor. I don't know if you brush your teeth every day. I don't know if you got bad breath. You could probably have.
But if we don't stay together, we live in the same city, and you live over here and I live over here. How you know I do the same thing anyway?
But because we can eventually meet. I
can pretend like I'm a hygienist, so I'm a brush my teeth.
You can't hide. You can't.
The hell you can't. You don't know a person until you live with them.
No.
I think that
exactly.
I personally
think that long distance relationships are a waste of time.
Okay.
I think long distance actually could work. Now, I used to be like you. I used to think that it was some foolishness, and I used to think that it was okay. I used to think that the only way the long distance worked is if you started in the same city. And then you ended up moving in the same, to separately. You know what I'm saying? If you started in the same city, that's one thing. But I think differently. I've dated a couple people out of town, and several people actually. But the thing is, it allows you to build and it allows you to grow with the person. You get to know them. You get to talk to them because you ain't jumping into bed all fast. When you live in the same city, a lot of times you fucking quick.
Yep.
And your perception of them is changed. But for me,
hoes.
Here he go.
You ain't a hoe because you fucked on the first date. Because sometimes your chemistry might just be a little bit more.
When you're long distance, you have no choice but to get to know the person.
But let me tell you, when you long distance, you can try different things. You got FaceTime, you got different games you can play with each other.
Girl, don't say FaceTime no more. We ain't gonna use that as a relationship.
Especially when you got money to visit. Now see, you 25 years money.
We can fly. You come to my city, I go to your city. We try different things. We try new things because in your city is different. In my city is different. The way you live in your city is different. The way I live in my city is different. It's different things. It's the same thing as if you're traveling with your partner and y'all still live together because y'all experience different culture. It's the same thing. But my whole thing is
you don't really know them.
Now I think that you definitely have
to know them, but you don't know them.
You have to take more time to get to know a person that's out of town because that's all you do is talk to each other
and get together and spend a good week or two or maybe a month together, and you realize that whole long distance BS was exactly that, BS.
Let me give you a scenario. What if you have a BS person that's right here in town and a person that's not BS over there and they come to visit you every other weekend, okay, and they out of town and they live over here in Bumfuck.
I would learn that nearby BS was BS a lot sooner than that long distance BS. That's why I said long distance.
You're not giving it a chance though.
Long distance is short distance, however you put it. You really don't know nobody until you move in with them.
Hello, exactly.
But it's long distance or short distance.
That's what makes my point. Long distance is a waste of time because you know them. But you don't know them until y'all are together.
That's what Keon just said though.
Right.
Okay. If me and Keon are dating and Keon lives over here, we both live in Atlanta. But we all know that Atlanta got so many different places. Marietta, Lions, whatever. He live all the way out in Conyers and I live over here in Midtown. Okay? We on two opposite ends of the world right now. That's almost like long distance because hell, who driving to who? Who coming to see who? Are you staying at my house or am I staying at your house or what we doing? We gotta explain it. We gotta talk this out.
Right, but y'all can work it out though.
No, but we're not gonna see each other every day.
Right.
So you don't know if I'm brushing my teeth every day. You don't know if I'm hygiening every day. But when I get ready to go see you, because I know you like hygiene, I'm finna scrub it up, brush my teeth, go over there smelling all good. But one time you might catch me slipping because I might forget.
Exactly.
So it's the same thing here that it could be somewhere else.
Because when you're long distance, it's rare you're gonna catch them slipping. How you gonna?
I disagree with you because of the simple fact is it don't matter if I'm dating somebody and we spend a night for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is. Like I said before, you don't know this person until you actually move in. When you move in with somebody, you learn everything about them. And to piggyback off what you said, long distance is a waste of time.
Hell, I don't. My time wasted right here locally.
You took the words out of my mouth. I have tried dating long distance. Right. I mean, if you don't try it, you don't know.
But y'all missing a long distance relationship. You wouldn't know you're wasting your time until after y'all get together.
But it's a waste of time for you. It may work for Craig. It may not work for me. It may work for Phil. But for you...
But my thing is, how are you going to make these generalizations about long distance?
Now you judge.
When you couldn't handle us saying that about all 25-year-olds.
Oh.
No, but it's long distance. Because it's a fact. You don't know someone until y'all actually together.
But it's 25 and you don't know until you 43.
What do you mean? No, you don't know. You don't know until you actually get to know them.
Right,
that's the difference.
But that's what I'm saying. Like when you're long distant, sometimes I dated someone long distance. This was back several years ago, and my friend Angela said to me, she said, "Craig, don't you for 1 second think that you and that guy doesn't have a real connection just because we were in different countries." Mm-hmm. And she said, because there are people who are in relationships who live in the same household. They don't have the kind of conversation that the two of you have. There are people who live in the same household that don't even know each other as well as you do. Once we were talking on the phone, we were on FaceTime. We were on FaceTime or Skype. And we would talk on that phone for 3 to 4 hours a day because of the time difference. And so we were able to do that. So we were able to get on the phone for at least 3 hours every single day. And when I tell you, I knew, and he knew my demeanor when my voice changed. He knew my facial expression. He knew when something was off. You know, he was like, okay, before we get off here, like, can we talk about like what's going on? Like, he knew, and I knew certain things. You know, you learn a person's temperament.
Right.
And sometimes you can miss those kind of clues and cues when you are in person with each other because you infatuated and you spending the night. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have sex for at least 6 months. So I knew who he was mentally first. Mm-hmm. You ain't waiting 6 months to fuck.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in the same place. Good night. Okay? Good night.
How long would it take you to
until I'm comfortable.
Oh, wait.
What makes you comfortable?
What makes you would know.
He acting like he Mary Magdalene in here. Okay, Mary Magdalene.
What would make you comfortable enough to just give it up?
It's an internal feeling. It's nothing that can be explained.
That word internal comes up again.
Yeah, that internal feeling. It's nothing that can be explained. When I feel like...
Greg, he said internal. It's nothing that can be explained because it's internal.
It is.
But then
internal.
You say something about internal.
Uh-huh. When you say something about internal?
Oh, you remember internal?
This is exactly why I said I'm not dating nobody 25.
I'm just asking.
Anyway, listen, thank you guys for listening to this podcast. It's available for free in Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, wherever you can listen to a podcast. Please hit the subscribe button. Please share this podcast. Thank you for listening. Be safe. Keep loving yourself.